what I will, I'll just hold this back up again just so I can carry on talking about it. So if I, for example, go to the underworld, and I've had this, experienced this a few times where I've helped people journey using this drum down here, and people have said to me that the trees that they see when you go to the other world, it's a luscious paradise, particularly in the underworld, and they say that their trees look like they're dying, they're on fire, and it's not looking that good, and it's really a sign that things aren't good actually in their life. And if I was to go into the world, into their landscape, I would make some changes to try and restore the wasteland, because their life is the wasteland that needs restoring. I mentioned the wasteland, and I'm talking about the wasteland that's spoken about in the Grail myths, and it reconnects you back, reconnects your soul back with the source of our living, of our life, which is the goddess. And this can also be done by restoring back the male elements as well. So it's not just about the goddess, it's about both elements. So I would go into someone else's landscape and make some positive altered changes. And one time I did this for someone. I went into the underworld and it was dark. I remember this is what it was like when I first started practicing shamanism. I was afraid of it, it was so dark, and I thought that was the way it was meant to be, until I actually found what I call my inner fire, and suddenly I saw everything so bright. It was amazing. Words can't actually describe how it felt or what I saw, but this particular person and the experience I had reminded me of that. So I created the fire for him, and I lit a nice warm fire, because there was actually he did want it, because I could see that the tools were already there in front of me. He just needed a little bit of help. So when I came back, I saw that his hands were outstretched like this, and I asked him what he was feeling, and he said he could feel the energy flowing all the way through his body. And this was from the moment that I made this change for him, and it was just very simple. This is one of the things that I have done in the past, and some of this is intuitive. This isn't everything that this is a set way of doing this. This is the only way. A lot of shamanic training comes from actually working with shamanic practice, and sometimes you find things that you were never taught, and the teaching comes from our guides and from our experiences, and this is really how I work, and I expand everything just through practice. And that's some of the elements that I use. I do soul retrieval as well, animal retrieval, which has on some levels aspects of soul retrieval. I take out intrusions by sucking out any blockages within the aura, or even physically. I actually have to pull things out. I don't mean like I'm pulling out a bullet or an arrow, but something might feel a similar shape. I might see something with my eyes, and I might get a little bit of light just around a particular area, and then I put my hand there and I can actually feel something there, so I pull it out, and I would discard of it, I would get rid of it. If I breathe it in, I have to blow it somewhere. I don't keep it inside me, because I can feel the sickness growing inside me as the longer I keep it there, so I have to purge it out by blowing it out, and I often neutralise it in water, which often helps. And what else do I do? I'm going to show you actually my rattles. All of these rattles are homemade. I haven't made any of these drums. I do like to make a lot of my tools, and I put all my energy into it. This is the first one I ever made. This one here, you can see, it's nice to put a totem animal on there. That's a spider. It's my second totem animal, and I work generally with a spider when I'm reconnecting people. This I must have made about 10 years ago when I first started, 9 or 10 years ago, and I love it. It still has a lot of yeah, I have a lot of love for this one. I do for all of my tools actually. I will show you the second one that I made. This I made on a weekend. I was meant to be going on a shamanic course, but it got cancelled, and I didn't know. And it wasn't far from where I was living, and I rode there, and I was told that it wasn't on. So I went back, and I thought, well, I've got this time, so I made this. It has a deep sound. Oh yes, I never showed you the sound of this one. There's a little bell on there. There's some nice crystal-like stones in there. Some nice little sounds. I use these rattles similarly to how I use a drum, but with a rattle you can just use with one hand, so it's a good thing to use if you want to place the hands actually on an area of the body or close by, and rattle as well. It's very, very good in that way. You can also use the rhythm to go into a trance state, and you can sing with these as well. These all have very different sounds. This one's a bit deeper. This one is made from a crab claw. Living by the sea, you end up adapting to the local surroundings, and this has got shells inside and a few stones, but mainly shells. This is made from a crab claw, a very large crab. And last week I used this at Wiltshire. Went down to River Avon, and I sang to the river. A tear came to my eye actually when I was singing. It's beautiful. Now, what I'm going to get out next, I've already got out, haven't I? This one here, which I showed you earlier. On this side, you can see the tree, the upper world, middle world, and underworld. I'll talk further about that at a later date. The totem animal there, which is the raven. I'll play it so you can hear it. There's stones in here that have come from close by, and this is lovely. That's natural. I did not create that. That's all as it was when I found it. And this is the latest edition. See, this is where you really think outside the box if you're making rattles. Here, that sound. This is made from dogfish shells. Oops, that one's probably going to come off. This is I found a few years ago. Make lots of trips down, living so close by. I only live at the moment about 20 metres away from the sea, so I'm bound to find a lot of things. And a gorse handle, also found actually on the sea. I don't know how it got there. It must have it was washed up, or it was unrooted and ended up down there. But it's nicely eroded away and smoothed off elements of it, so it's nice and easy and not too prickly to hold. Not prickly at all actually. That's a nice sound. And this I've already used during a shamanic healing session, and it's very effective. I think it'll give someone a fright that dangling down there like that. But these are some of the things I use. If you have any questions,